the health and remote machine to trigger the service calls to make any preventive maintenance. This machine is also enable new product as a service business model, and hence this model is working like where customer no longer need to buy a product, but instead they pay for its usage. So now I would like to call Simon for to conclude this presentation.
Simon, you're on mute.
My apologies. Thank you so much, team, for giving us a brief yet a very concise overview on what exactly is artificial intelligence, right from the beginning in the pharmaceutical industry to its applications and to its different domains. So I would like to conclude by saying that the reality in our industry right now is that we are at a key inflection point. The real promise of AI is basically physicians are not that agile towards the latest technologies, but they are definitely trying to. So we need to get them accustomed to the artificial intelligence and various other domains so that we can move ahead in a faster pace. Regarding regulations, as we all know, pharmaceutical industry is a highly regulated industry. And when regulators and pharmaceutical companies can come together to embrace AI and other digital transformation initiatives, then we can achieve economy, cost efficiency, value-driven effectiveness of various regulatory operations. And lastly, in terms of the workforce, organizations need to scale up slowly. Of course, it won't happen in an overnight scenario. It will definitely take a few years to come. But if we make a plan, a transformation plan for the organizations, then definitely it can take up AI in the near future. With this, we would like to conclude the presentation, but now we'll move ahead with the panel discussion. So it's very interesting to know what my team members think about AI and what are their viewpoints on that. So we'll quickly move towards the panel discussion. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Okay, so team for the panel discussion. Am I audible?
Yes.
Are you geared up for today's panel discussion on?
And Kathy, you can put on your video now.
Yes, Simon, definitely. Very excited.
Yeah. So with the tone set for the day, I would like to ask my first question to Nishtha. Nishtha, can you tell me what exactly is the difference between change and transformation? Is it just semantics or it has a deeper meaning?
Oh, such a deep question is coming into my account, but I'll try my level best to give justice to it. So a change, according to me, is a response to an external influence or any force which is applied from an external source, but modifying it to do action and then achieving it to the final result is a change. But transformation, according to the other hand, is about modifying core beliefs and long-term behaviors, like which is going for a long time and it has to be changed. So that is transformation, but it also ends to a good result. So both are ending to good result. The only difference is change is a short term and transformation is a long term. And answering the second question, it depends upon individual whether it has to be semantics or it's just a deeper belief. I hope that I did a justice to this question.
Yes, thank you for telling us the difference between change and transformation. Followed by that, I would like to ask Khyati. Nishtha has told us the nuances so beautifully. Why is digital transformation more important than just mere digital transformation, according to you?
Thank you very much, Simon, for the question. Am I audible perfectly?
Yes, Khyati.
Okay. So I would like to first define this digital, as we have seen in this previous sessions, and experts have beautifully define it. Like it is nothing but the combination of digital and physical. So and we have just discussed the what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, what is big data, along with the IoT. And as per my understanding, IoT is the perfect example of physical here. So where physical things are interacting with the digital technologies and they are making wonders in the market. So, but if I take the example in pharma industry, the physical can be something which is a medical rep, talking with a doctor in a person and a medical rep who is doing e-detailing to the doctor, which is a combination of both. So this can be a new era in the pharma industry. Like it is already happening today also. And here we can both process equally important. So to create a brand image and at functional level, these two things are important. Apart from this, if I take example, as in the previous session, Dr. Nadiminti has rightly explained that only data analysis or data from that data we can get so many insights, and from that insight we can get so many things which is all about from the customers. So to get that we need talented brand managers who can do that. So that's where the digital transformation meets the physical world, and this physical make it very, very efficient. That's it from my side, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for giving an example of e-detailing, and definitely we'll be good brand managers someday. Followed by that, I would like to ask Nishtha. Nishtha, can you please tell us what exactly is AI, ML, and IoT in very simple terms?
Sure, Simon. Got a very good opportunity to explain in simple terms about the whole webinar. So artificial intelligence in simple language is the ability of algorithms to imitate human behavior in applying knowledge. As it is quite similar, that is artificial intelligence. We know about human intelligence. It is a copy and artificial version of that intelligence. It is basically the automation of repetitive tasks using a robotic process automation. So it is very clear that it is something which works according to human intelligence, but in an artificial manner. Coming to machine learning, it is interchangeable with deep learning in the means of achieving AI. So it is very clear that machine learning is used to achieve AI. But in a simple language, it means there's significant amount of manual work to writing millions of lines to decode with a lot of rules and decisions of trees. So it is basically the rules and regulations of the device, we can say, in which AI works. So that is the machine learning about. And talking about Internet of Things, that is IoT, it is a system of interconnected devices, which are like wireless or connected through Bluetooth, and then it has to be accessed through internet, because the word says Internet of Things. So the devices which are used here are sensors, built-in embedded systems to control over the smart systems. We can clear these three topics with one example, that is the GPS system, the locations that we use to explore around in our cars or in our phones. So basically those maps that we show randomly to our locations through the GPS location, it is the AI. The device in which it has been working, that is machine learning. And yes, the internet in which it has been used, those sensors, those Bluetooth and those connections, that is Internet of Things. So I think I'm quite clear in basic terms of all these three terms. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, thanks, Nishtha, for explaining it in very simpler terms, in fact. Next question is for Vaishnavi. So Vaishnavi, since a great majority of our friends are in the field of sales and marketing, I would like to know what's your opinion of the application of AI in the field of sales and marketing, and also if you could touch upon the application in the field of F&D, R&D, and manufacturing.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah, definitely. I will start with marketing. So in marketing, it will help us in suggesting the next best actions, as we have already seen in the role of AI. And if we use artificial intelligence, they will help us to analyze deeply the personality of the customer, or his attitude, or his prescription patterns. So this will help the marketers to segment or to target the appropriate customer. It can also help us in multi-sourcing marketing strategies. Like we either go personally to the doctors, or we use other technological ways like calling or sending emails. So if we use artificial intelligence, we can do combinedly, like pre-planned calling, e-detailing, as Kathy has already explained, that things can be adapted. In manufacturing, we know how lengthy the process is of manufacturing. So if by using this technology, we can reduce the time of production. And during the pandemic, we know that most of the people were not favoring working. Only 19% of the people were in favor to come and work in the place of production. But we are needed to meet the demand. So what they did is they used subsections of artificial intelligence like machine learning and machine learning to analyze social distancing of the workers or the employees working in the workplace, and to analyze like who is the first person of contact if any employee has tested positive. And artificial intelligence will do the work precisely. This will reduce the number of errors, giving us a major quality product. And the demand for the vaccine to overcome this COVID was so much. We know traditionally it would take us 10 to 12 years to discover a new vaccine. But using this new technologies, we got vaccine within a period of 4 to 5 months. That was possible because it helped us to reduce the number of lead molecules to single digits. And in formulation and development, current technologies are such that we are in a place where we can virtually see how these different components are reacting with the API and how it is reacting in our body. In such way, we can reduce the number of formulations that can be possible, and to some extent, we can reduce. To some extent, we can stop or have final phase of clinical trials. I think I have justified the applications in the 4 fields that were asked.
Yes, definitely, Vaishnavi. Thank you for touching upon all of these fields. Brief idea about each one. I would for artificial intelligence has the potential to foster innovation, right? For example, it has accelerated the development of the recent COVID-19 vaccines. Which other diseases, according to you, can be mitigated or even managed with the assistance of AI and ML?
Okay, thank you, Simon. I would like to answer this question. I hope I'm audible perfectly.
Yes, Kathy.
Okay. So Vaishnavi has quoted an example in F&D's application, and as you have asked also, that during this COVID-19 vaccination stage, if we go to the traditional path, we will take 10 to 12 years to come up with an excellent vaccine who can cure the patients. But with the help of these technologies, companies has made to come up with the vaccine in 5 to 6 months, in 6 to 8 months. So apart from this, as per my understanding, the diseases which are very, very high end, like for example, orphan diseases for which the population is very, very less. For example, in US, the population who are having less than the population is only 2 lakh for the orphan diseases. For that, this kind of technologies will be like a boon because this kind of patients need personalized medicines because they have such kind of gene mutation and all. So AI, ML, and machine learning as well as deep learning, they will definitely going to have a huge impact on this kind of treatments. So this is from my end. Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up the topic of orphan disease. Many pharmaceutical companies ignore this because of the vast amount or the huge amount of funds that they need to invest in such kind of diseases. Since you spoke a lot about AI, and I would like to know what would be the impact of big data in the healthcare system?
Okay, thank you again for the question, and I would like to answer that. So what is big data first? So as Nishtha has rightly explained, big data, it's nothing but a huge amount of data which is coming up from the market. And it can be structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. So if we look at it, the breakup of this data, only the data is structured today in the market. The structured data is something which is in the Excel sheet, which is in the tabular form. Apart from this, 70% of data is unstructured, and only 10% data is semi-structured. So the major challenge for the healthcare is to translate this unstructured data to get valuable insight about the customers. And these customers are no one but the doctors also. And apart from this, big data is where this data is coming from. So the process which we just discussed is nothing but extracting the data. We will load the data in a system and then we will analyze the data. So to do this particular system, we need to first collect the data. So from some of the sources to collect this data is patient records. It can be a hospital registries. It can be anything, a conversation between a doctor or a medical rep. It can be anything which is a Google search by any consumer of healthcare. So we need to collect this data first so that we can make that huge database. And that after that, we can derive some valuable insights from it. So, the application of in the healthcare is better treatments, better investment, better availability, and better sales for the company. Apart from this, whole process will be integrated with the help of this data. So this is from my side. Thank you, Simon.
Thanks, Kathy, for explaining it to us and giving us so many examples in the industry. My next question is for Nishta. Nishta, can you tell us what exactly biosimilar products are? Because according to us, in the 21st century, biosimilar products are going to reign the healthcare system.
Yes, sure. Biosimilars are a very new and emerging topic, and it is being taken over by many companies. Many leading pharmaceutical humongous names are researching a lot about it. And for this question, I was being guided by a very renowned person. So I would love to give justice to this answer by answering what I learned from him. Biosimilars are basically a copy of those chemicals or those molecules which are deep inside in a body. As in a growing in the ages, people degrees because our lifestyles are not that good the way our ancestors used to live. So those molecules and those chemicals get decreased day by day within in our body. And in future times when we need it, so these biosimilars are copy of those, and they are injected or given through oral tablets and stuff. And that's how they just get the deficiency gets filled in by this. A very basic example is insulin. Insulin is something which is always inside in our body, but with time, because of diabetes, type 1, type 2, people get that destroyed, those strands get destroyed, the gland gets problematic. But so we get insulin from outside through injections. So it is one of the very basic example of biosimilars. Biosimilars is actually quite equal to biologics, but not exactly biologics. But yes, because what God has made to us, it cannot be replicated by humans. So it is quite similar to it, but it's not similar. So again, humans have tried a very next level through AI only to make biosimilars very equal to biologics. And now it is reigning in the market because yes, it is very cost effective. It is now of very less side effects. Yeah, we can see insulin how it is working. It's a very common example. Insulin is far better than taking the oral tablets of the same for the same diabetic patient. So insulin has been working so well. It is cost effectiveness, then it is efficient to take as well. And also that's the reason that in the future healthcare, yes, biosimilars is going to reign, and we'll have a new healthcare development in the sector of biosimilars.
Thanks, Nishta, for doing justice to such a complex question. You definitely took the right guidance. My next question is for Kathy. In continuation to what Nishta said about the biosimilars, I would like to ask you about biopharma products. They are generally large and complex molecules, and administration can definitely be a challenge. For instance, oral tablets and capsules may not be possible, and only sometimes in certain patients, parenterals are only feasible. My question to you is, how can India and Bangladesh get prepared to meet the new challenges of the 21st century?
Thank you so much for the question, Simon. So yes, as Nishtha has rightly that what is biopharma products and what is biosimilars. So I would like to take one example here. So if we talk about a small drug, which is aspirin, so it is having only 21 atoms. But when we talk about biopharma products, it can be ranges from 2,000 to 25,000 atoms. And they are also, again, they are peptides, which are very, very sensible towards the temperature as well as the working condition around them. So yes, to formulate them into the dosage form, which is like tablet and all, it is a real challenge for the industry. And for that, what industries are doing is they are using new approaches like pre-filled syringes. Pre-filled syringes, and again here, in this pre-filled syringes kind of thing, the main thing is companies are focusing on patient centricity. So not only from the company's perspective, how the manufacturing, R&D and all that thing, which are very, very complex for the company, for the patients also to cope up with such treatments are also very, very, it is not that easy. So it is a bridge between both. And if I talk about pre-filled syringes, so many companies here in Gujarat, also Vapi, they are also making this kind of dosage form. So that the company can understand the point of view of customer, and the customer also get benefited of from all this process, which is biopharma and biologics. This is all from my side. Thank you, Sima.
Thanks, Khyati, for talking about pre-filled syringes, and Nishtha for talking about diabetes and the recent pens that are used. So my next question is for Vaishnavi. Can you tell us about how AI is transforming life sciences?
Thank you, Simon. Just now I have explained some of the many applications of AI in 4 fields like manufacturing, F&D, R&D, and marketing. In a similar way, AI has many applications, but I'll discuss only some of them in life sciences. So, if we leave COVID for a period, for a little time, one of the major concern in a pre-COVID era was cancer. So, what the companies or biologists are doing is that they are collaborating with some of the computer technologists or informationists, so to create artificial intelligence technologies that will identify cancer in a very early stages, in a very early stage or in a curable stage before it gets worsened. And we know the role played by radiotherapy in the treatment of cancer. So some of the academic institutions are researching on this topic, on this radiotherapy, so as to differentiate between the cancer cells and the healthy cells in a precise way, in an accurate way, so as to treat, so that the treatment will be so precise and useful, and in a way that it will not spread any further. And apart from cancer, another disorder, another major disorder during COVID period, pre-COVID period, and is depression. It is majorly seen among teenagers and as young adults. So what the biopharma companies or some major companies are doing is that they are trying to analyze the pattern why this depression is happening, and how the patient or how the patient is responding to the treatment patterns that these doctors and companies are giving, and trying to come up with a more accurate way for the treatment. And it is also companies are also coming with personalized medicine patterns, they are using genetic information of the patient along with his symptoms and his history, treatment history, and trying to figure out what is the best way of treatment to the person so that he will recover in a very faster, quicker way, and these problems will not be repeated again. Now we are having many medical devices, mobile applications that are taking care of us. I hope that in the next 10 years, we will have much better treatments and we will be in a place to face such pandemics in a very efficient way. Thank you, Simon. I think I have justified the question.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vaishnavi, for giving us so many examples throughout your talk. My next question is for Nishtha. So Nishtha, as we all know that our teammates have spoken a lot about different applications in different fields, but one field is remaining, that is pharmacovigilance. And I would like you to speak on how AI is transforming or how AI is impacting the pharmacovigilance aspect of the industry.
Thank you, Swan, for the question. As pharmacovigilance is a very important part and the last stage of the final outcome of any launch of the drug, and which was been neglected till now, but yes, we covered through this discussion. So just giving one overview of before coming AI in the market, how pharmacovigilance was working. Pharmacovigilance is the market research of any drug which is already in the market, and patients have been answered or been questioned, feedback surveys have been done by the many pharmacovigilers who've been appointed through. And then that data is collected, and through big data analytics, it is being structured, and then final results come out. Many times the results are very negative. That drug is not working good in the public, so that drug has been taken off. That is known as the withdrawal of the drug from the market. So how it has been working? It took 11 years for cisapride to be taken off from the market, and 5 years for rifacoxib to be taken from the market. So we can see that how much long time pharmacovigilance take to work properly. But yes, coming digitalization, it is not taking so much of time now. We have seen a couple of examples, last drugs which have been taken off. They have been taken very easily and very frequently in the market. It didn't took 11 years or 5 years, and patients' values have been saved. Actually, whenever any company launches a drug, their first target is patient's life, through which we all are in the pharma. Pharma healthcare is meant for that. Medicine is meant to save the life of the patient. And if such delay will be taken by the pharmacovigilance, so many patients will be dying out of nowhere. And then there's no fault of it. It's the fault of the drug and it's the fault of the technology. But now AI has taken over, and now no 11 years or no 5 years has been taken, and patient's life has been given more value, which is in specific in H2H marketing, it is known as patient centricity, which is very important. We need to think according to the patient's life and not by the company's thought. So it is very helpful in adverse drug reactions. The adverse drug reactions through technology and advancements, it gets fixed accordingly. And now we'll in future also we'll be seeing many drugs being taken off through AI, and now I think so that AI will be given more importance in this case. Even FDA has also taken a lot of steps to get withdrawals by this method now. Many research papers I read over this, and it is into prevalence. And yes, pharmacovigilance has been backboned by AI now.
Thanks, Nishta, and thanks for correlating it with H2H Marketing, the recent book of Philip Kotler, sir. I would like to, we had a good conversation, a good discussion today, and I would like to end it by asking Vaishnavi a very tricky question. That is, will AI and ML make you and me redundant?
Oh, thank you, Simon. When we talk about AI, the first concern or the first thought we get is about our jobs. Like if AI comes, what about our jobs? So the impact AI will have on the labor force is not yet known. And the thought that bots take the job and then eventually they'll rule the world and they'll wipe out the human race is just a topic completely left for science fiction. Then it will be better. That's not going to happen because we are the one who are programming the artificial intelligence, so they will not take over us. And by using AI, we will not become redundant because it will just help us in doing some of the repetitive works or some of the time-taking works. These works will become automated. That's it. Nothing much harm will happen to us. So to justify this, I will give one example, one very known example, which is banking sector. When computers came into the banking sector, everyone thought that their jobs will be lost, etc. And in that period, earlier to that period, when people used to go to bank, it would have taken so much time for them to count the money and to enter the data. So after the use of computers in that sector, the things were finished in very shorter time, and the data is entered very quickly. Now we are at a stage where we are transferring money sitting at home without even the need to go to the bank. That transformation was possible because of adaptation of technology. We are at a place where world is changing, and we are also changing according to that world. If we take example, when pandemic came, there was lockdown. Did that stop us from pursuing our education? No, we adapted using some of the softwares like Zoom meetings, Google Meets, so that not to stop our education. This will also happen if we adapt artificial intelligence in our work field. We will develop new skills according to the requirement, and by if we adapt to that, new opportunities will be created, new responsibilities will be created. And if we still feel that we are losing the human touch, we should adapt digital ways to marketing or manufacturing or any other field, so that the human touch will never be lost, and definitely AI will not make us redundant then. Thank you, Simon. I think I have justified that question.
Yeah, yes, Vaishnavi. AI will, you answered it really well. And I can supplement it by saying that 13.2% job increase has been seen in the last quarter itself in the Asia Pacific region. So now that we have come to the end of it, I would like to thank my team for explaining so many complex concepts in such simple and easy terms for all the participants to understand, giving your viewpoints on all the questions I gave you. I challenged you with so many questions, but you answered it really well. We now live in the age of AI, in which AI doesn't compete with humans. It is elevating them. And nowhere its applications are more remarkable than the life science domain, where digital transformation enabled by AI and machine learning is affecting virtually every aspect of the value chain and is bringing us closer to the future of health. For the pharmaceutical industry, big data and advanced analytics, including AI, has triggered a fundamental shift within the innovation paradigm. There are significant opportunities in this field of AI to transform the business, from the way we develop drugs to the way we engage with our stakeholders. AI holds the potential to drive an unprecedented productivity improvements and better outcomes. We as an industry are on the cusp of realizing its potential, and we look forward to more such advancements in this field of AI. With this, I would like to thank Pharma State Academy, Vivek sir, Saurav sir, Swati ma'am, for giving us this wonderful opportunity of being on this panel discussion alongside so many industry stalwarts. And this is a big platform for us. We have learned a lot. You have mentored us throughout the months before this event, and we're truly grateful to each one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dream Team. We call them Dream Team because they have taken up a dream topic and delivered in a very, very satisfying way. You all answered, you all right questions and correctly answered. A good presentation at the start, Dream Team. Congratulations, Simone, Vaishnavi, Nishtha, and Kathy on this panel discussion. Vivek sir, you would like to ask question? You are on mute, Vivek sir.
I wouldn't like to ask any questions, but I would like to give them a small gift. Sure, and I would like to enroll all of them in Guru Shishya program Gold.
Okay.
Can you tell a little about that Guru Shishya program, which
sure.
We are offering them?
Sure. This was also given to our SWOT AP analysis competition winners. And you will get access to 1 year subscription to all the courses at Pharma State Academy, created by Vivek Hattangadi sir. It is a very, very worthy package, almost around rupees 50,000 for anyone who is trying to enroll to. So keep learning, team, keep learning, keep delivering such talks. And many of you have been praised, right? So congratulations to the brilliant students who have delivered this talk. And I think Vaishnavi is in the first year and all three are in the second year. Right, team? Great.
The team
well
is receiving a lot of accolades from very senior people in the industry for this presentation. And they are overwhelmed by your presentation. Just see the chat box later on.
And one question before you all leave. Saurav is also there. Hi, Saurav. You mentored very well. Has any one of you done any assignment on effective in-clinic performance? In clinic, how medical reps or something? Because there was a question relating to that. So if anyone has done something in AI, making effective in-clinic performance by company, either by rep or in person, if you have done, you can share experience. If you haven't, no problems there. So team, good luck with that. Saurav, you there? Okay.
Yes. Swati.
How do you feel mentoring such a team?
Perfect. I was really happy to see that performance of the team. In fact, So I will just let them know, like, when, like, just before a decade ago, when I was working with the Tatas and the Infosys, in fact, IT companies, the level of training of IT resources was something like, after seeing pharma management people talking about IT in such a term, I'm seeing the bright, like, the future of pharma very bright, in fact. So they are definitely going to take over into the next generations, and this type of training, this type of understanding, the clarity of these thoughts, and at least the adaptations. So we will not be facing much more challenges in the coming days in, advocating the digital or, the digital way. These people, the students are smart enough to go ahead, and I definitely see a brighter future. Yes, we are coming from India, and we definitely see that, like, the technology advancement in India as well as the innovations in the IT field is definitely going to help Indian MNCs, in fact. So we can see much more bigger brands coming in the near future with the help of our very own technology, which is made in India, in fact.
Great,
Thank you
sir.
very much, team. You definitely met the expectations. Long way to go. Congratulations.
Congratulations, team. Despite your
you so much.
network connections or some issues, I know there are some personal issues also going on with a few of you, but you delivered it very well, excellently done. And there was a digital disruption in the digital transformation today also, but nothing there from your side. Thank you, team. Thank you for joining. Stay connected with us.
Thank you so much.
And now,
Yes, sir.
thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Stay here, do not log off, because now you are going to listen to Professor Waldemar, who is co-author of H2H Marketing, and his insights into what it is for the industry or academia. Professor, I think, yeah, he has started screen sharing. Over to you. Aha, that's so nice of you.
Of course, I mean, this is one of the, give me a second, I have to get the presentation up. This is one of the great events of pharma branding, and therefore I think it makes sense to congratulate you. Even the last session with the students was outstanding, and we're directing into the future of pharma marketing, where artificial intelligence will help to make procedures and patient benefits more efficient. I mean, we had 2 really impressive days. We learned a lot, we exchanged a lot, and I think this could be the beginning, as you mentioned it, of a digital transformation, including H2H marketing. So I'm very happy that we are in this stage now, and then we are working on that, and there probably will be more. Today is the 3rd day of this World Pharma Brand Manager Day, and I think the learnings are really outstanding. I would like to give a short keynote today, and I'm pleased to be here. And I think the learning what we had and the learning we will have in the future will help many patients and many doctors and many companies. Well, currently we are still living in the COVID area, and we do have quite a strained situation. Various companies are helping us. Various countries are in different stage. I mean, in Israel, we see a almost complete vaccination, and the 4th round of vaccinating people. Nevertheless, there are places where many more things has to be done. The impact of COVID to the pharma industry is actually immense. There's a big trend of deals during that time, and the number of deals, as you can see in this chart, is going up. So there's lots of knowledge needed, and the exchange of that through merger and acquisitions help to improve the whole thing. Nevertheless, when you look at the overall innovation in the last 3 years, the patent applications went down. This had some reason which is hard to identify, but nevertheless, we have to cope with the situation and probably need some more improvement in other areas. On the other hand, also the talk on the internet, the vibe, and this is actually a statistic about the influencers on Twitter, really calmed down, which is an interesting phenomena. Actually, there are many more interesting phenomena which we have not really understood what happened in the last 2 years. And I think research and other people can help to make it clear. For me, I think we are in transition, and the digitalization will help us to change the world to the better. Well, the evolving trends for the pharma industry are relatively clear. The pharma industry is preparing for a digital future. It took a few years to make this eminent. Other industry are actually in a very similar slow process. Of course, construction industry is the last one, which is building on that. Some governments are way ahead, some governments are way behind. The pharma industry now understands, and actually for applying the H2H marketing concept, we need the technology for enhancing, for enabling the interconnectivity and the direct response of customers to the companies. In addition, the pharma producers are moving from pill producers to health solution providers. Not all the companies have done that step. A few large ones are going ahead. They're building solutions around their product offering, which is also in line with the H2H marketing thinking. And therefore, at the end of the day, the value which gets created with the customer will be much bigger than the value before. There are some eminent drivers. One of the big drivers, of course, is the knowledge and the awareness of the situation, of the sicknesses, of the processes and cures. And this kind of content is available all around the world, not completely freely, but it enhances the situation in the overall sense. We also have the digital adaptation of knowledge, and in addition to that, the omni-channel possibilities, which creates many more options for the customers and many more challenges for the companies. At the end, the companies which are patient-centric are actually the one which are following or actually creating this trend. Well, the market development is enormous. We have a huge market, 900 billion, which is one of the biggest market in the world, and it looks like that they're going to be a trillion soon. The industry is growing by 5% behind other healthcare segments, which is medical services and equipment. And the pharma industry is dominated by big business, one of the most in demand for the people and one of the most profitable in the world. We also know that there are only a few companies, around about 10 companies are dominating the industry, and their marketing communication spending is actually higher than their R&D spending, which is very interesting. In the current way of the marketing thinking, to my understanding, if H2H marketing is applied, probably the communication spending could go down because the use of digital channels. In addition, we know that the pharma industry regulations are impacted by local government conditions. And the Indian situation is actually very different from many other countries. In Germany, we have a similar regulation scheme, but not as specific as in India. The global market defined by daily doses, here's just overall statistics, which shows that the developed world is still the big one today, but in the future, already in 2019, the developing or developing areas is catching up. And when you look at the overall characterization of these two areas, India is actually very low down on doses per day, but this is just the overall number for India. In some areas, like the big cities, India is on a level like the developing countries, which means on the monetary level that the expected market growth is actually in the 5% areas, and in the 5 to 8% areas in the developing world, the emerging world, which means that this market will increase in the future very high. The Indian market size, if I have analyzed that correctly, has the size of $41 billion today, but the growth rate is enormous, 22%. This has various factors. One of them is that India is the pharmacy of the world, which means most of the generic products are generated here. They start to have branded generics, which creates a few big advantages. The export rate is very high, and actually is one of the fastest growing industry within India. India has a great cost advantage to other countries, which gives them the opportunity to compete in foreign markets more easily. From my perspective, India has a bright future, which means, number one, the size of the market is growing, but also the applications and the sophistication of the market is growing. Well, this could lead to big changes, but also this gives big opportunities for the players in this industry, not only the pharmaceutical company itself, but all the service providers all around. So when you look at this situation and know that things are changing, the players in the industry have to prepare themselves for the future. So when you look at the current market directions, we have the relationship between the pharma companies and the doctor, and then the doctor serves the client, the patient. And this is mainly done in the RX area. When you look at the OTC area, we have a different channel. So these are relatively separate channels which are served today with various means and various instruments. But when you look into the future will probably be different. We have today patient and the prescription and then the payment. And in the future, the prescription and the outcome are actually more important. So see how the medicine works. Is it safe? Is it specific for the population? Other thing, and then payment based on performance. I mean, this is things which will come in the future, and therefore also the providers of the services have to put themselves into this new framework and know and understand what to do with this kind of conditions. So far, these conditions are not completely applied, but it gives us the direction where the future will be. Well, when you look at the marketing, what you're doing currently to the doctors, and from my perspective, I consider the doctors also as humans, so they are not only intermediaries, they are somewhere in between. The most important factors or consideration for the marketing doctors is they are very specific, so they want content which has to be marketed to the doctor, and they want to see the results. They not want to see placement, so they have to have some tactical placement for highly important aspects to reach individuals who might be decentralized and traditional marketing strategies. Okay, and then of course the reach, is done through content marketing, and also must be well researched and articulated in the appropriate manner. So this is quite a challenging way. nevertheless, it will be added to other dimensions. And when you look at the patient marketing, which we have today, the marketing to patients is all about identifying individual needs and creating the patient experience. And this is actually what will be provided in the future. That will provide efficient and specific value to address the same needs and create this patient experience. And often is this an online process that relies heavily on strong research engine optimization user experience. This is the process which we are experiencing currently and which means quite an important aspect of the future. Well, after all, patients are online nowadays, and then the statistics, the data are actually helping to analyze the situation more efficiently. Well, in the new H2H marketing approach, the pharma company, who itself is also human, markets to the doctor, and then the doctor, particularly in the RX area, and then the doctor markets to his patient. Through the OTC market, the company go around and market direct to the patient, and this will be in the future happen. And then the customer demands from the doctor also in the RX area, and then the doctor demands from the company. And this new process is part of the H2H marketing process, where it's a bi-directional way, where companies, doctors, and patients need to work together to establish the future aspects of all these things. And as we said before, the drug selling has been changed from to health solution, and at the customer side, we want well-being, which means at the end of the day, the brand which brings the things forward are very important. So without the brand, the services of the companies and the effects as the customers cannot be named, and therefore the brand development in this area is from very, very high need. And another important aspect of the future development is the customer experience. And again, we have both sides, the company value proposition offering and the situation of the customer, of the patient, where the patient as a customer has his own situation, his own goals, his own frustration, his own illness and activities, and wants something, and this company is offering something. And then with the experience of the offerings, the co-creation of value happens. And in that situation, customer experience becomes the most important part of all the things what could happen between the company and the customer. And having established this customer experience creates the future of many more things. And out of that, reputation and trust becomes the magnet for all the many stakeholders who are involved in this process. So having trust out of the customer experience, reputation helps the people in the company, the employees, to make a better job and motivate them. It helps the customers to encourage repeat purchases and build market share for the company. It's also for the investors, for the media, and the financial analysts who make comments about the company. So when you look at this reputation and trust magnet, which is necessary and actually is created out of the customer experience, the brand management becomes so important for any pharmaceutical company. And therefore, brand identity and brand image has to be looked very specific way. In our H2H marketing book, we looked at this situation quite specific and identified the difference between brand identity and brand image. The brand identity is given by the company, and the brand image is in the brain of the customer. The customer understands what the brand is, and actually only the customer can determine the value of this brand. And by creating this trust, by having the high reputation, the customer has brand needs and brings in his brand experience. And on the other side, the company has to bring in the brand behavior, how companies specific behave and how and what they are promised. And together at the line of the brand touch points, the experience of both come together. And out of this coming together, the future of the application of this brand is determined. So if a company has achieved this kind of recognition, then they can establish a brand management, and this brand management gives them the opportunity to enhance their position and enlarge the trust. In the H2H marketing model, we have a chapter which deals with the brand management in detail, and this brand management, of course, is built on the 3 pillars, and one of them is the design thinking, which really stresses the brand formative design, the way brands are designed suiting for the people. They're looking at humanizing the brand, and they're looking at brand from the customer's point of view. And this design thinking helps company really to understand their brands and build them in a very specific way. In addition, we have the digitalization, which has all the new customer paths, the brand communication, and many more factors. The most important thing is the brand as a trust factor, and that trust factor is built multifold on the digitalization. The service domination logic stated as the basis of it. It determines the co-creation of the brand, and the brand as operandi resources as a meaningful resource from the dynamic of a network perspective. So brand management actually gives us in the H2H marketing a new possibility to work on a very specific way of making the life of people and the companies more joined together. Well, when you look at the future, many pharma companies are moving the marketing and sales function together. And in the future, this needs to be organized more around the brands. So there are like heads of marketing and sales, and then there are global brand management for example, for the recipient area and research and the health economics around. But then the brand managers are responsible for the action. So in future, the brand management of pharmaceutical companies are actually a very important part. And I would like to encourage even a step further to establish chief brand officers on the executive level of the companies. Well, so when you look at the situation of that, brand management becomes a really important part of all the pharma industry, and the reason for that are well known. Actually, I would like to mention Gauri Chahari's The Perfect Pill, and in their book, she also referred to what Phil Kotler and myself has published in 2006 on the B2B brand management. Brands are reducing risk, brands form information efficiency, and brands add value, which means they secure the future of the business, they create loyalty, they differentiate marketing, they create preferences, they create brand image, and of course, command premium prices. So brand management for pharma industry is the future, And many companies have not taken the emphasis so much on that, but I believe the future is here, and therefore it's necessary to look in this area in a very particular way. I appreciate that we had this wonderful 2 days of World Brand Manager meeting, and I also appreciate that you looked at the H2H marketing as a conceptual basis. So I would like to thank you for all these wonderful activities. And if you want to contact me, I'm more than open to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Waldemar. At the end, you emphasized, and that was the theme also last day, that creating a brand image is going to be one of the pillars for pharmaceutical companies. You need to be a brand now. Your leaders need to be seen in public space talking about health and well-being of patients. And many more themes were touched, but this is the ultimate truth. We need more leaders coming up from the pharmaceutical industry and interacting with all the stakeholders, whosoever, whether they are doctors, they are patients, their internal employees, and interact and create a brand image for the company. If they are doing good work, that should be in public space. So that was a wonderful keynote address that you gave. Vivek sir, can we open the panel for a little interaction with Professor Waldemar?
Why not?
Yeah, Satish, can we open the panel for one-to-one interactions with Professor Waldemar?
Sure. Now participants can unmute themselves. So if anyone wants to interact with the professor or Vivek sir, you can unmute and just tell your name and ask the question. Yeah.
Be anytime, but I think let them address to Professor.
Yes, sir. This is Kalai. Yeah, this is Kalairaj. Sir, really, I'm happy to see you in this new year. And we had interacted with last year along with the SAS team on the same H2H platform. I hope you remember us.
I mean, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, HTS. Yes. I think the sessions was really mind-boggling. In fact, it was kind of very capsulated form of things are there. And I understand that many people started using this model and they are actually implementing it. In fact, we even discussed a certain platform for research also on this, especially on design thinking. We were started doing some kind of research. So this is one part. Second part is slightly off the way. I just want to see that one is an API. What is the kind of API today now being the Chinese issue? Now, after that, is that the companies are now started taking API and KSM, on for how to, make their own self-dependency so that they don't want to, they want to reduce the dependency with the Chinese supply. So, is that all? I think it seems to be that all companies are, even India also, they're not taking a lot of efforts. So in your purview, how the countries are working on it?
Well, that's it's a very complex question what you answered here. Very interesting question. I mean, what I see from my perspective, I mean, the various countries around the world have understood that in the last 2 years, the name of the game has changed. And therefore, number one, government policies, but also individual companies are looking for solutions. I mean, even small countries are helping their own industry. I mean, what I see for companies like India, we have a couple of big ones which are doing a great thing, but what I'm missing is actually the cooperation between the companies. So I think institutions like World Pharma, I mean, State Pharma can really help to make this happen. And the exchange of information between the experts can actually improve the efficiency of the industry. But therefore, if you establish this kind of system, it will be beneficial for all participants. I mean, your question was much broader, but I just want to focus on this part.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think we'll move on to that. Thank you very much.
But hopefully we can do some research together.
Yes,
So,
yes. In
if
fact,
you
India
have
is taking, India is taking a lot of efforts. In fact, we are also working on certain assignment on that, and they're taking a lot of efforts on that. So I just want to see from the broader on other countries. But I think you are given a good answer. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Anyone else who wants to ask the question?
Well, if I would like to say something, I mean, what I'm looking forward is a really good example. So everybody who has a case study, please shoot it to Dr. Swati or to me, and then we'll work on that. If some people want to do some more research, please let us know. I mean, that's the kind of thing what we would like to encourage here, and therefore plan something else, hopefully next year.
Yeah, Professor, one very interesting thing that is coming up right now after coming of this H2H concept is they are saying that now there is nothing like a B2B or B2C. Everything is H2H.
Well, I agree to that, absolutely. But of course, there are variations. I mean, in each industries, decision making is done differently. I mean, if you look at pharma, we have a couple of researchers who do outstanding work. And then we have a few marketing guys, which is similar to the fast-moving consumer goods. So there are actually not so many people involved on the company side, and millions or even billions are affected on the customer side. In B2B, it's quite different. There are many more people in the company who are actually interacting with the customer. So there are differences. And therefore, we need to look at these differences. Nevertheless, the digital transformation process enables us that all the participants can actually share. Of course, it needs some kind of rules and needs some kind of etiquette, how you do that. But the future gives us the possibility to do this. And actually more knowledge is needed for the customers and for the intermediaries, that they can also establish their own value added and bring new things to the market. So it's quite a challenging situation. Of course, B2B and B2C will be there, even peer-to-peer. Nevertheless, the H2H concept characterizes that the involvement of the individual, of the human, is essential. Nevertheless, there are differences. So I think that is also one of the research topics we have to look at.
Perfect, Professor Waldemar. So we shall be closing in a few minutes now. This was a marathon session on World Pharma Brand Managers Day marathon, you may say, event, where we almost learned for about 8 plus 6, 7 hours, almost 15 hours of learning on a continuous basis at our platform. And we are very, very grateful to all the speakers from across 3 continents who joined us on these 2 days. Mr. Kalaida, do you want to say something?
Yeah. Sir, I think really thanks for that opportunity giving for the research. In fact, I want to open another opportunity for the students who are interested to do the research. Maybe we can have a kind of workup together, so that because a lot of opportunity we can provide. Last year also we had given an opportunity on H2H. We have given some students. So this time we want to do some research, especially we were working on some kind of empirical evidence. So where we can actually work, and we are ready to extend our support. So we can actually do that. Maybe you can just inform the students who are interested to join. I think this is one message. Second message, I don't know if you have any agenda or not, but I think today is our Vivek's birthday. So we wish to give a happy birthday to sir.
Kalaida sir, we started with the day with that only. We started the day with
I'm really
Vivek,
sorry.
sir. You were not
I
there.
missed that part. I think the beginning I missed it. Actually, sorry, but anyhow, I just want to say happy birthday to sir. Thank you.
So Professor Waldemar, today is Vivek sir's birthday also. And he is now 72 years young. Similar to what Professor Philip Kotler is doing. So as he gets younger, he gets more involved in learning and development activities and knowledge sharing. Thank you, Mr. Kalaraj. Yeah, Professor.
So when is your next meeting? What is the next big one?
Next, we're going to plan, Professor Waldemar. But this was the perfect start to the year. Now we feel like our new year has started. It was a big responsibility on our heads to make this event a successful one. And this was falling on 2nd and 3rd January, where people are not that receptive on those days. We missed Professor Philip Kotler also. He said he would be joining, but the dates are not matching with his.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I appreciate. Hope to see you again. Keep going, and hopefully we'll have another big session one day. Thank you.
Sure, Professor. Let me thank through the video. See you again and again. Thank you, Professor Waldemar.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Vivek sir, your concluding comments for the session for the World Pharma Brand Managers Day. Next year, we are bringing in a week of learning, not running total marathons for the day. Next year, we will plan with sessions on weekdays and weekends also. Yes, sir.
I would like some of the students who participated this year I would like to invite them today itself to be the speakers at the next World Pharma Brand Managers Week. I would say no more day, the Brand Managers Week. And when I see the students of today, I can only say that Pharma India is in very, very safe hands. Very, very safe hands. The amount of work these little girls have undertaken in the last 1 month, stupendous. And what I like the most was the total dedication to what they are doing. If this is the attitude that they are having at this point of their lives, I wonder when they grow up, my God. Therefore, let me reiterate again, Pharma India is in very, very, very safe hands.
Great. The students, I hope you are listening. Keep doing the good work. We personally thank from the team of Pharma State Academy, every speaker who joined us, every person who asked question who participated or were there in the audience. Thank you so much. Stay connected with us. We will keep bringing learning sessions, learning opportunities for everyone. That is our single-minded mission. And thank you, Vivek sir. Enjoy the day and enjoy this birthday also. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Satyamesh sir.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah. We are ending the session.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.